With me now, Cruz Delegate Operations Director, former Virginia Attorney General, Ken Cuccinelli. Great to have you back, Ken.
Good to be with you.
You obviously know the law. So every time somebody from Team Trump says that the Cruz campaign is breaking a law, what is your answer?
Well, a few journalists like Chuck Todd, when the first Gestapo tactics charge came up, and Stephanopoulos yesterday have said, name an example. And none of their team have ever been able to name an example because they don't exist. This is difficult for us, too. There's a lot going on in this race, but we have a big cadre of grassroots activists who have been motivated by Ted's message of more freedom, economic prosperity from government and security here to get out and work and not just go vote on one day in their primary, though they've done that, too, but to keep working to recruit more and more people into the Cruz bandwagon. And we're growing and building the coalition that you hear Ted talk about all the time. And it's that coalition that's beating Donald Trump. And he's frustrated by it.
Ken, let me ask you this. There are a lot of people who say, other groups I should mention, okay, fine, there's no laws being broken, but the campaign, the Cruz campaign, is following the letter of the law, not the spirit of the law.
No, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, we're doing just classic, traditional, grassroots organization, motivation. Again, Ted is inspiring these people to come out and to show up and to participate. And every Republican can look back on 2012 and 2008, and they know we got our clocks cleaned in the ground game. Well, Ted Cruz is running the best ground game in history by any Republican candidate for president because he's inspired so many Republicans to come out and participate with his message of security, prosperity, and freedom. And that is what we're riding. We're just riding that wave of people. As you, in the clip you played earlier, Ted noted all these wins this month that the Trump people have been complaining about, well over 1 million people voted in those elections. Well over 1 million people. And
because
Ted
the Trump
swept
team
those
says
states.
Colorado was unfair, obviously not pleased with what happened in Wyoming. And I want to ask you, this is actually exclusive to Breitbart, but I made a note of it. 4 Colorado Senate Republicans basically put down an initiative that would have allowed a state primary this year. Reportedly, 3 of them are Cruz delegates. So sometimes when people read things like that, they think, oh, the system is rigged.
Well, of course, all of these systems were set last year before October, so in September of 2015. And you may recall that Ted Cruz was at about 2% or 5% in the national polling at the time. Trump was around 15% or something. And nobody took him seriously. Nobody thought that Trump would last this long. And a lot of people didn't think Ted Cruz would still be around. And now they're the only 2 contenders left. So it's hard to say that this system was built and designed to stop either Donald Trump or Ted Cruz, though I would say that Ted has been a strong anti-establishment candidate. He's a guy who went to Washington and did what he said he was going to do when it came to fighting the Washington leadership, and he has done that. And he's paid a price for that. He's bled for that, and yet he carries it right out onto the presidential campaign trail, and he has the track record to prove it and to demonstrate that he will take that attitude into the White House. So he's a guy who will turn the place upside down, and a lot of people support him for that.
So let me ask you, apparently the Rules Committee of the RNC meeting this week, far from decided, but at least on the table, this idea of giving delegates more power right up front.
Yes.
A lot of people say that would hurt your candidate, Senator Cruz, help Donald Trump. What are the chances, 1 to 10, as you prepare, that you think changes will be made?
You know, I think the chances of any changes in the rules this week are very low. However, as a general matter, the Cruz campaign, and coming from Senator Cruz himself, supports transparency, supports delegate control. This is a majority vote process. Nobody is going to become the nominee unless they can get a majority of Republicans and their representatives to support them. And that's what Senator Cruz is spending his time fighting to do, spreading his message about economic growth, prosperity, and greater freedom. And that's making a lot of headway.
Ken, we thank you so much for the time.
Good to be with you.
Thanks for going through the reasoning with us. Cruz Delegate Operations Director Ken Cuccinelli with me there.